It's familiar territory, familiar steps being taken by St Helens. The Challenge Cup semi-final for the fourth consecutive year. Huddersfield, once known universally as the team of all talents back in the 1920s, haven't been in a Challenge Cup semi since 1971. They haven't won the cup for 51 years to the day when they beat St Helens in the cup final of 1953. St Helens fans here as ever, in big numbers and loud voices this afternoon.
No ball.
These are the moments that will really test the nerves of the Huddersfield players, you'd feel, more than the St Helens players, because there is so much big match experience in that St Helens side. There's the referee today, Carl Kirkpatrick, who was the referee of the year last year. Paul Sculthorpe shaking hands with the officials. And Darren Cleary, the Huddersfield skipper, who played in two Challenge Cup finals with Leeds in '99 and 2000, winners' medal and a losers' medal.
Hold it, hold it, hold it.
Well, the two sides just waiting for confirmation of the toss. Not sure if they haven't lost the coin. Some interesting team news today, of course. You'll have already guessed that Sean Long is playing this afternoon. He had a very late fitness test.
Tells it is, Paul. Do you want a kick?
But he has been past fit to play. Darren Cleary remaining very focused on the task ahead, and the toss finally complete. The two sides will change ends. This is the way they line up then for St Helens. Sean Long has passed a very late fitness test on that knee injury to play. Martin Gleeson, who like Long has had one or two off-field distractions of late, also starts. The Saints pack is full of big match experience, led by loose forward and skipper Paul Sculthorpe. For Huddersfield, fullback Paul Riley has also come through a late fitness test on a calf injury to play. Standoff and number 13 Brandon Costin could be the Giants' most potent weapon in attack. In the second row, Stuart Jones might have a point to prove. He's on loan from St Helens at Huddersfield. Carl Kirkpatrick, who didn't have far to travel. He is from this very town of Warrington, and he's about to get this match underway. How do you see this one going, Jonathan?
Well, I think Huddersfield have got to start well. They've got to be in the game, and that's not the best start for them.
Well, the worst possible start, because it's gone too long out on the full, so it is a penalty straight away to St Helens. And if you were looking for a moment as a coach just to settle the nerves, that was absolutely the opposite, wasn't it? They really have to pick themselves up very quickly from that.
I know which has given St Helens good field position. As I said, they've got to start well, they've got to be aggressive. One thing about Saints, you know they're going to throw the ball about. You've got to wrap them up, ball in all tackles. Don't leave them offloading the tackle.
There's Mason, who's taken to within 20 yards of that Huddersfield line. Cunningham from dummy half now. A little dash by him. Well marshalled by that Huddersfield defence. They need to be on their mettle in these opening moments now. Sculthorpe. Across to Long. It was a high one, but Long with a little hint of a break. This is Hooper. Here's Fozzard. Former Huddersfield player, of course, Nick Fozzard, but he's put down fairly simply too. Sixth tackle coming up. St Helens still a distance away. They're going through the hands through Hooper. Out to Tallow. Tallow tries to keep it alive. Wellens, the fullback, is in the line. But Huddersfield will draw great confidence from the fact that they've kept St Helens out in those 6 minutes.
That's a very good set, Dave. You know, they just put themselves under pressure, the mistake. But they really looked organised there, very aggressive. Drove them back in a tackle, and that'll give them a lot of confidence. Also, in previous cup encounters, you know, Sean Long has really dictated proceedings with his kicking game, and Darren Turner closed him down very quickly.
And Stanley Jean, who informed us in midweek that his name is actually pronounced Gene, but we're not going to be the first to pronounce it as Gene in this country. He's always been known as Jean. He's quite happy with that, he says. It makes him sound quite posh. Here's a kick downfield. Now Wellens lost that in the sunshine. He didn't get to it, and Huddersfield with a kick from March had possession again. Well, the elements contriving against St Helens there. What a start to this game. Here comes Costin now, testing out that St Helens result. March from dummy half, little clip through into the in-goal area, and Tala will take no chances and puts it away for a drop out under the sticks.
Well, again, showed their intentions. The kick was early, the sun is in Wellens' eyes, the bounce favours Huddersfield. The St Helens were lucky to get away with that because he got a foot to it, but they didn't get the hands on it.
Well, poor Wellens, if he was a goalkeeper, you'd tell him to put a cap on, but not available in this game, of course.
Well, strangely enough, Portugal chose to run against the sun, so it'll be interesting to see how things work out for them.
There's a drive by Slicker. There's Fleary, plenty of experience in that very hard body of his. Costin. Oh, and he was looking for Bailey, who came on very sharp, and the pass was maybe just fired too hard at him, and Wellens can bring it away for St Helens. This is Gleeson.
Brian Noble mentioned composure, didn't he? And looked a slightly rushed from Costin.
Well, there's plenty of evidence so far that this is a semi-final, if you didn't know it beforehand, isn't there? Plenty of nerves on show from both sets of players. It will settle down as the game goes on. Sculthorpe's well dealt with. Cunningham down the blind side. Here's Joyt. Oh, it's a poor pass from Chris Joyt. Flew past Darren Elbert and out of play, and it's another mistake.
That's the way St Helens play, though, isn't it? They throw the risky ball. The majority of these will come off. St Helens had his eyes on the inside runner, but it's 100 miles an hour so far. And I think that Ben Roarty has been swinging a few arms. He's got to keep control.
Here's March with a feed. Costin again, who's already proving to be a fairly pivotal influence in this Huddersfield side. Jean takes it down the blind side. March back to Riley. Here's March again. Now Stanley G. Nice little offload to Turner in support. Jones. Just trying to pop one over the top for Bailey. It has gone forward. So it will be St Helens head and feet at the scrum.
Yeah, tries to get his hands free in the tackle. Fodder comes in, forces the error.
Ian Millwall taking notes. Late fitness test with Sean Wong he had earlier this morning, but happy enough to allow the scrum half to play. There's Wellens. It's been a fantastic cup run that St Helens have been on. They beat Bradford in the first round, and then Leeds, and then Hull. They have beaten the form team in every round so far. And they'll have it tough again today against Huddersfield, but they have strayed offside. So it's an easy penalty for St Helens, which will carry them a good 20-30 yards inside the Huddersfield half.
Lovely kick by Sean Long.
Wanted to get on with it quicker than the referee was willing to allow. Here's Cunningham, Hooper, Sculthorpe, just pushes away Costin, but finds two willing defenders behind. Just holding on just to the borders of how long they could hang on there. Huddersfield to slow things down. That play the ball wasn't the cleanest. The referee says play on. Mason's battled one way and will now go the other, but he's just held up short. Cunningham waits at dummy half. Here's Sculthorpe to Long. They've come very deep here, Saints. Back to Wellens. Skips inside the challenge. Grappled to the floor by Jones. Long again. Back towards the centre of the play. The rubber kick was just chipped away by Turner. It'll be another 6 tackles. He did play at it, the referee says. The pressure remains here. Cunningham looking for the problems behind the ruck area. Now he goes wider. And it takes a lot of strength to pull him down. He's still not down, and inches short, that's all. Skillful, high over the top, looking for the fringes, and Albert. The defence and Marcus St Hilaire recovered just in time. Joint, high and looked along, who makes the most of it.
Defence is fantastic, scramble defence. They were short on the outside.
Here's Skillthorpe to Hooper, trying to push through the gaps, Lee Gilmore. Hooper again, Skillthorpe, now Long with the boot once more, looking for a way through. Riley comes across there, he lets it bounce, and Marcus St Hilaire has to pick it up, can't get out of the in-goal area. It'll be a dropout underneath the sticks. The pressure will remain very much on Huddersfield here.
Intense pressure, putting a lot of width on the ball. They're coming up extremely quick on the outside, trying to cut their space down, and then holding and playing the drift defence.
There's a long kick out by Costin. Mason. Well, it's a terrific game. We've only had 8 minutes, but it's been played at some intensity. Here's Fozard. Cunningham testing the left side of Huddersfield's defence again. Long. Here's Hooper. A couple of dummies on the inside, but Huddersfield didn't buy them. Gilmore, Wellens. Willie Tallow, the Kiwi, waits poised in the acting half-back's position again. Long again puts boot to ball. It's bouncing, difficult. It's Cunningham who's got it. Has he put it down?
Oh, no then.
Carl Kirkpatrick will ask the question.
Paul Riley did really well there. The bounce of the ball went against Huddersfield. Did he ground it?
Might have been a question of onside here as well.
All right, we'll have a look. There's the kick. He's definitely onside for a start. Watch the bounce. Goes up over Stanley Jean's head. He's held. But watch Paul Riley. He holds and holds him. This will be an interesting call. Goes for the ball, Cunningham. Now, he's got to hold him up, Riley. Does he do it? It's very difficult to see from that angle if he's got the ball on. From Costin's reaction. Here we go.
Now, is the tackle complete there, or is the momentum continued?
Well, that's the call of the video ref. Right.
Well, Steve Cross is the video referee.
It's a very difficult call for him. I would go with a try.
Any doubts, of course, and they always have to go on the behalf of the attacking team, which would give St Helens a try. The question is, did Kieran Cunningham's momentum stop before he put the ball down? No, it didn't, is the answer. The try is confirmed. St Helens have their lead after 10 minutes. As cool as you like from Ian Millward, but it's pure joy amongst the St Helens fans.
It had to come, you know, the defence had been superb, but the bounce on that rugby ball. Stanley Jean had no chance. Cunningham was chasing, well-timed run.
Sean Long just trying to keep his concentration. There are one or two in the crowd who are trying to remind him of recent events, I think, but he surely won't let that affect this attempt at conversion. Over it goes. 1 out of 1 for him. St Helens lead by 6 points to 0.
You can see the angle there. He's out the shot. Watch the bounce here. There's the bounce. Stanley Jean can't do anything. Gets the ball. Watch the ball. Will go down. Now. It's really the referee's call, isn't it? Video ref, how much time does he allow? But was he held? Wasn't he held? Steve Cross, the video ref, thought clear try.
So Huddersfield, having conceded, will be looking to regather some of their character. Here's Gardner from dummy half. Cunningham, an acting halfback, back inside to Fossard again, who comes flying down the middle. He's wearing that arm bandage. He's had a few arm injuries over the years, but it doesn't affect his attitude. There's the kick downfield. Marcus St Helens not too sure where it's going, and he's going to be dragged out of touch. It'll be a scrum down. It'll be St Helens head and feet 10 yards away from the Huddersfield line.
Lovely kick. Sean Long doesn't want this to go into touch. The bounce is favourable for St Helens. Marcus St Helens got to go for it. He's on his feet and he's dragged over the touchline. Intense pressure, Dave.
They're showing plenty of this big match experience here, St Helens, aren't they? Knowing exactly how to put pressure on your opponents.
And an extremely warm day today.
This is Alberts. Oh, and Hooper! Right between the gap! What happened to the Huddersfield defence there? Hooper skips in. St Helens skip for joy. 10-0 they lead now. What a burst of points at the start of this game.
Well, you know, you're just ball watching, Riley. Simple try. Here he goes. Drifts across. Costin doesn't take him.
Well, it all came from the kick, really, didn't it? From Sean Long. But Huddersfield under pressure. Sean Long with the simplest of conversion attempts. He shouldn't miss this. Well, it has been a whirlwind few minutes here for St Helens. Long adds the kick again. The question is, can Huddersfield recover from this huge setback so early in the game?
Here we are, we run it on here now. We just ball watches. Ball runs on, and stop it there. Look at these two men, they've just been taken in to this guy there, and another guy just hits the hole down to the middle. It's an easy shot. There he is, he's been dragged in. Just ball watching. Paul Riley has got to watch the man. They both saw the man coming across, the gap opened up.
Well, 15 minutes played, St Helens 12, Huddersfield 0. How do you respond to this? What now for Huddersfield?
Well, the first thing they've got to do is get possession. That is the first thing. It'll be interesting to see a stat of possession, because you really haven't had the ball. One attack from a bouncing ball, and that's been it.
It's another good drive by Kieran Cunningham. Here's Mason. There you see St Helens with 63% of the ball, 69% in terms of their territorial advantage as well in this opening 15 minutes or so. And here comes Long with that boot again. He's really kicking Huddersfield when they are down, offside against the chasers. That will give some light relief to the Huddersfield Giants, but Sean Long's boot here is kicking Huddersfield where it hurts.
It's a great kick once again. Look where he is, in the corner, 10-metre line.
Well, Huddersfield have the chance to hold the ball here. They'll just be looking for a settled set of six, won't they? Just take it as far downfield as they can, just to steady their nerves. They were second favourites when the contest began. They are very much second favourites now. Turner. March was being interfered with as he tried to play the ball, so it's another penalty for Huddersfield. Well, good field position.
even as early as this in a game. I think they need to score next, Dave.
This is Turner. Half break by him. He had margin support but couldn't get the ball away. Now it goes left. This is Costin. Costin with a flat ball. St Helens defence is up to the task. Rarity is eventually released. Gannon. The ball has been dropped. Mason is not the quickest, but he has carried it a good 30-40 yards downfield, and those are the mistakes Huddersfield simply can't afford.
Yeah, nothing silly. He held onto the ball.
That was high on Fossard as well.
This is a left.
Concentrate on what you're doing.
Just to watch the left arm of. He comes in. Clumsy challenge, really, that's all. Didn't catch him with a forearm. Just a very clumsy, which will put them under pressure once again.
He's taken a few of those in his time, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Won't knock his resolve. Just gives a chance for both sides to get their breaths back here as well. We always suspected in this game there was going to be a period in which St Helens just threw the ball about and really hit the opposition. But the fact that it's come in the first 15 minutes might already have set this game towards its inevitable conclusion. Or can Huddersfield respond? Well, they'll need to survive this set of six, certainly. Here's Mason. Cunningham to Long. High to Hooper. Hooper has support from Gilmore, went behind him to Talau, whose hands were not as sharp as they should have been.
Oh, the overlap was created.
Would you have expected him to catch that?
Well, I think Willie Talau would have expected to catch it. The overlap was created.
I think his coach might as well. Let's hear from Damien Johnson, who's on the touchline. Damien.
Thanks, Dave. Down here on the touchline, I can tell you in the sunshine it's 22 degrees, nudging the mercury up. That's 74 in old money. It's been a tough tackling stint in the opening 15 or so for Huddersfield. You just wonder how much the weather and that tackling will take its toll as the game wears on.
Well, they have named 3 forwards on their bench today, Huddersfield, one presumes in response to the heat. This gives them a few extra legs as the match wears on. Costin, here's Riley. Had to wait for the pass, and Albert wasn't going to wait. Turner. St Helens defence is stepping up here now. Turner again from dummy half. Cunningham had him wrapped up. Sculthorpe was there too. Costin. It's a big kick by him. Wellens, who was troubled by the sun earlier, not this time. Takes it safely.
Very good chase by Huddersfield. It's not only the offensive play of St Helens which is impressive. You know, they're closing the space down. They've pinpointed Costin as the danger man and putting extreme pressure on him.
Here's Fossard. Cunningham. Mason was to his right, but he's gone left to Gilmore. Well read by Paul Smith, who's on from the bench. Quickly snapping into the tackle to make St Helens aware of their presence. Sculthorpe's kick. Again, the bounce was a little awkward for Marcus St Hilaire. Or not the cleanest to play the balls. Well, they've got away with it. They have got away with it, but Wellens, I think, has every right to complain there.
Well, he plays the ball. I think Paul Riley's not watching. Yeah, he is watching. I think that Paul Wellens was entitled to go for that ball.
Hold the line! Clear the rope!
Well, the penalty goes Huddersfield's way.
Clear! Clear! Oh, wait!
March. Stanley Jean.
Get off! Clear the ball!
Paul Riley, a fullback who's been catching plenty of eyes. this season, and there's one of the reasons why. That's a terrific break by Riley.
Just needed support.
March out to Nero. Oh, and it's been dropped by Heffin O'Hare. Well, the overlap was there. I'm not sure it was a clear try-scoring opportunity, but there was an overlap.
Not the first pass of the match that he'd wanted. Look, ball was just dying on him. Again, he'd have thought he should have taken that. There's an opportunity for him to have a run. Open spaces in front of him.
Stand up! Stand up! Separate! They're heading!
Scrum settles, here comes Long. Gleeson.
That one, relax!
Well, they're claiming a knock-on there, I think, but Patrick is OK for them to carry on. Cunningham. This is Sculthorpe. He is such a tremendous athlete, isn't he, Paul Sculthorpe? Cunningham. Oh, it was high to Cooper, and Jones was there to make the tackle instantly. Long. Kick through again from Long is causing problems once more, and Riley gets there. Well, there was a fumble, and after a bit of a hint from the sidelines, the referee gives it as a knock-on.
It's, again, a lovely kick. Away from Riley. Ball checks. Good chase. I don't think that was knock. Let's see from this angle. Yeah, definitely knock on from that angle. But everything is pressure, isn't it? They're competing for every ball, St Helens.
They're pushing and pushing and pushing. Gleeson. 5 yards away. Sculthorpe at dummy half. This is Joint. There's an air of inevitability again, with St Helens in the mood and in this position. Cunningham. Long. Misses that. Hooper picks out Gilmore. Gilmore scores.
They've tried to exploit the left-hand side with dummy runners and long passes. What happens? I think Nero comes in, gets the wrong man. Hall appears for Gilmore try. Just watch. There's Sean Long. There's the dummy runner. Nero comes in. Wrong one. Try time, Gilmore. That's it. He can't get across March. The gap has opened up. He's too quick.
You have to take your hats off at the way St Helens play this game, because when they play it well, they play it very well. Lee Gilmore was a substitute in the final last year for Bradford. Here Ian Millward having a few words. Tell you what, if Sean Long had been just knocked off his stride by all the press attention during the week, he's not showing it, is he? His kicking game has been absolutely immaculate.
As it always is, when you're in the spotlight for the wrong reasons off the pitch, when you go on the field, no one can get at you, and he's just turning it on today, Sean Long.
You sound like a man who's speaking from experience there, Jonathan. I wouldn't have imagined you were ever in trouble. Here's the kick that's just wide, but it is still 2 out of 3. It is Huddersfield 0, St Helens 16.
As the ball comes out, yeah, if we just run it on there, ball comes out. They've always been doing this with dummy runners. If we stop it there, this guy is just going to come in, take the wrong guy, the gap opens up there, it's a simple try. There you go, just run it on now, bang, the hole just appears for him and he scores.
Huddersfield tried the short kick-off, which didn't quite come off. It has given St Helens possession back. Cunningham. Here's Sculthorpe from within his own 40-metre line, but it's not going to go anywhere near touch. Here's Riley to bring it back. Bailey.
And there is, look, first half possession, 57%. You know, that is a lot of difference there. I know most of it has been played in the Huddersfield half as well. And the side of St Helens is calibre. You can't allow them to have that. Look at that territorial advantage as well.
Rocky Turner trying to make headway. He played in the '98 Cup final for Sheffield, of course. What a try that day. Here's Costin with the kick downfield. Alberts watches it spike back to him. Well, Crabtree on from the bench, making his presence felt.
So dynamic, Sculthorpe. You know, when he goes to the break, he just puts on the gas.
Four tackles gone, and they're just inside their own half, and it's back to the boot of Long again. It's the perfect kicking game he's produced today. That one is just about 2 feet longer than perfect, but you know what I was saying.
That happened, Dave. As soon as you said it, he was going to go dead.
There's O'Hare leading the charge, the little Welshman. He would love to be playing at Cardiff, but it's a long, long way away from here. Here's March. Jim Gannon, who, by the way, became a Brit this week. Jim Gannon, he took part in a ceremony that made him a British citizen as Costin kicks it over the top. Albert chasing it back into his in-goal area. That's a good kick. How good is the chase? Well, there's the confidence of St Helens to throw it around inside their own in-goal area, and there's the talent of St Helens to escape from their own in-goal area in quite the style of that.
Yeah, just confidence is extremely high, but they've been penalised not getting up to play the ball. This is a lovely kick by Costin. Albert, a lot of composure, lovely pass, more space for Wellens, lovely step. But watch it here, he goes down the ground.
Well, wasn't much wrong with that, was there?
There was absolutely nothing wrong with that.
But a penalty has been given Huddersfield's way.
There's nothing wrong with that at all. I thought he hadn't played the ball, but he did everything well. He wasn't even held.
Crabtree is taking it close. Turner waits at dummy half. This is his specialist position now. Steps to his right, can't find a way through. Jean throws it to March. March with a short ball, and it's taken in by Stuart Jones.
Good tackle, Tollow.
Quick hands. Here's Crabtree. Oh, what an offload! And it's March who touches down. There's hope yet for Huddersfield. Paul March popping up just when his side needed him the most.
Well,
great hands.
They had to score, then they had to come back into this game. Showed a lot of character. Great offloads. Crabtree bit of bigger. Here's the penalty first of all. He goes to ground, right? Soler just doesn't do anything. He accepts the tackle. Well, I can't see anything wrong with that. There's the try. Lovely offload, lovely turn in the tackle first of all. Crabtree offered good support. March is there. But Dave, I didn't see anything wrong with that play of the ball.
Well, how important is that going to be at the end of the day as March steps up to add the 2 to his 4. They are back in the game here. Maybe just holding on to the contest by their fingertips, but they have a little hope now.
It'll be interesting to see what they say. You know, was that a voluntary tackle maybe? Because he wasn't held, I don't know.
Well, he seemed to give the penalty after the play the ball, didn't he? But that was the outcome.
Well, it means they're back in the game. Just shows what they can do when they do get the ball.
They still need to score next, you feel, though, don't you? But if they do score next, how would that take the wind out of the St Helens sails? Sculthorpe's big boot is collected by Costin. Here's Marcus St Hilaire. Riley. Now the voluntary tackle is the decision that led to that penalty, we're being told. The fourth official confirming that a voluntary tackle against Paul Williams. Well, that's a brave decision by the referee. I think Brian Noble might raise an ironic eyebrow at that voluntary tackle decision as well.
Yes.
The way St Helens won the grand final a couple of years ago. Meantime, back in the present. Sculthorpe. Quick hands down the blind side. Here's Gleeson. 10 minutes to the break. 2 scores separating the sides. Here's Fozzard. Sean Long again, up to the line and pops it up for Wellens. Wellens is through, Tallow's in support. Hefin O'Hare will do his best, but Tallow will stride away. Take it all the way back to Sean Long again, right up to the line with ball in both hands. It was his pass that put Wellens away, and then in turn it was the pace of Tallow. St Helens stepping it up just when they were under pressure.
It's a great ball. All Sean Long's work here. Watch how he delays this pass. Hold, ball in 2 hands. Hold. And again, bang, lovely ball. Lovely pass, lovely weighted pass. Tallow, just too much pace for Hefin O'Hare. Did well to get there. Watch the pass, weighted pass. Again, it's Nero, not the first time he's done it. He's been sucked in. They've exploited the right-hand side. You've got to stay out. You've got to be aware of what's happening in front of you and not to be sucked in by good footballers.
A little cool refreshment on a hot day. Well, he's having a terrific game here, Sean Long, isn't he? He's already made a very good bid for the man of the match. In the 40 minutes he's produced so far, whether putting boot to ball or with ball in hand, he has been outstanding. Has it got enough curl? Not quite. Just hit the upright. But they can afford a little pat on the back.
He'll be very happy.
Players and their coach.
There's watching number 11. Costin's got Sean Long. Just goes into the wrong man. Lovely give and take. Hefin O'Hare does extremely well to get to him, but just too much pace. Even so, Adrian Gardner's on his outside to take the pass.
Or do they go short again here, looking for possession, or they're going long, and Costin's gone too long again. Oh, he's not! It's perfect! Absolutely perfect!
Well, that's what he tried to do at the start of the match.
Well, Brandon Costin had to get it inch perfect because this is the longest pitch in rugby league, you know, so he has not had too many times to practice this kind of kick at other grounds, but my word, that was spot on.
If he'd have tried that at the old Wildesborough, it would only been over the stand.
Well, it means that St Helens will have to defend here because Huddersfield have possession through Riley. Penkovic, who's on from the bench. Gannon, who drives it forward. Good, solid platform laid.
Good position.
Penkovic again. Crabtree to March. Not the best of passes. Long's there, was being impeded by Riley. Now, does it go further than this? Is it just a penalty, or might there be a card? There's not going to be, but there was certainly a professional foul element to that, wasn't there?
Yeah, I don't think he had a choice there, Riley. Again, it's the loose pass. He gets his foot to it. If he doesn't take him down, Sean Long had a great opportunity to go the length of the field there. Watch, gets his toe to it. He's got a jump start on him. O'Reilly's got to take him down.
On the line.
So instead of attacking, Huddersfield suddenly find themselves defending again as Fossard fires it forward.
Yeah.
Cunningham. Edmondson, the youngster who's been in fine form of late.
Yeah, he's not the biggest, but you know, he's got great feet. Edmondson.
Sculthorpe. This is Wellens up at dummy half, the full-back. Oh, that's Gleeson stepping away! And then inside Riley! Just dragged down.
Numbers on the left-hand side.
Cunningham was impeded, but he won't be stopped. Oh! Knocked on by Edmondson. What an opportunity.
Again, 9 times out of 10, Edmondson would have taken that. Snatched it a little bit. Maybe he was a little bit too forceful the pass, but the opportunity again came from a lovely break by Gleeson. They're starting to fall off tackles now, and as expected, the defensive work that they put in, getting slightly tired now.
Well, it was a forward pass. That was a very lazy play by Huddersfield. Or as you were just saying, a very tired play by Huddersfield.
Come here. Come here. You deliberately faked playing the ball to try and catch them offside, then you abuse me. I'm not taking it.
Well, it's a penalty that's been given, and as you heard, it was the faking the play the ball to try and catch the opposition offside.
Yeah, and then a bit of verbal abuse to the referee. And he is. I don't think there was much in that actually. And then he said something to the referee, which could cost him 4 or 6 points now.
We've had a few laws dusted down from the rule book today, haven't we? That was a bit loose from Fossard. Cunningham. Sculthorpe looking for the inside ball. Hooper just had his line impeded. Here's Hooper again. Long. Tallow on the outside. Long goes inside. It's taken by Gilmore, who twists it away to Hooper. Hooper keeps it alive, dashing it in. They're winding themselves up again here, Saints. Long, the flat ball. Bailey was putting enough pressure on Joint for the experienced second row man to knock it down. No advantage. And so it'll be a scrum. Huddersfield's head and feet.
I find it very difficult. Huddersfield, this onslaught.
Stay up, fellas. Hold the line, fellas.
But, you know, there's still 14 points.
It
could have been so much more, so they'll be happy. They can sneak something now. 2 minutes to go. They can go in with 14 points or less. There's an opportunity.
That's how you deal with Stanley Jean, by the way. Here's Riley. Tankovics running up quickly at dummy half again.
Come on!
Jean, who was one of the injury doubts in midweek.
Give him
A
10!
little slow to that dummy half play, but actually the kick's got away. Here's Albert. Sculthorpe. Moody Gardner in off his wing to lift a bit of the pressure off his forwards by driving it in himself. Cunningham, Sculthorpe again, plenty of support on the inside and then the outside, and oh, great hands, great try. Aidy Gardner, over he goes. Well, did he ground it? Did he get it down? Was he over elaborate here?
It's all about the grounding here. Great play, absolutely fantastic passing. Watch the inside ball first of all. Gleeson hits the hole. Good support by Mason. There's Gardner. Does he ground this ball? This is it. He's over the try line. This should be a try if he grounds it. One-handed. Not very happy with that.
It's a try, that, isn't it?
From that angle, is it, Dave?
Well, I would say yes, but well, maybe not. But I think they'll give this.
I think it is a try, yes. This is the one that doesn't show it. That's the one. What do you think?
Well, I think they will give this. But like you say, if you're the coach, you wouldn't be over happy with the way he grounded it, but he did ground it. That has been confirmed. St Helens are in the driving seat, and it's destination Cardiff.
There he is. He did score it, but I'm sure that Mr. Millward will have a quiet word with him and say, 2 hands, my boy.
Well, this will be the final act of the first half.
And it's 14 points, so they've been happy with 14 points. Huddersfield with the pressure that they've been under.
Well, one harks back to that semi-final between Wigan and Bradford all those years ago. What was it, 71-10 that day?
I'm sure Brian will be very happy you mentioned that in studio.
Brian played in that game, didn't he? But
when he's on the field.
I'm not sure it's going to be 71-10 today, but it is heavily in favour of St Helens as Long puts in the final kick of the first half. It's Huddersfield 6, St Helens 26.
Right. These are the men who face the big task over the next 40 minutes. Ryan, what would be your message to them?
Well, he'll be talking about things like pride and doing the things that they didn't do in the first half, reinstating his game plan, saying we'll knock a set off at a time and see what happens. They'll get the ball roughly 20 times in this second half, and hopefully little Bo Peep hasn't lost his sheep. They'll go out there with some belief and give it to the Saints.
But you've had good days, you've had bad days against St Helens yourself, Kevin Sinfield. You had a very good day in the semi-final this stage last year, of course. Beaten by them this season, and once they get into the kind of momentum that they're in at the moment, they're pretty relentless, aren't they?
Yeah, they're difficult to stop. I'm sure Ian Millward will be telling me what's the same sort of stuff. I'm sure they continue with the kicking game that they've been doing, and they'll just bat on like they have been doing.
And they still look very, very motivated. Individually, the performance from Sean Long that we've seen in the first half, given everything that's happened in the last couple of weeks, how would you rate that, Brian?
Well, he's certainly put it beside him, hasn't he? He's not focused on that, he's focused on what I'm sure he has done for the whole of 2 weeks, and that's getting a winning performance today. He's world class on his day, and it certainly is his day, but he's had some admirable compatriots there with Sculthorpe and Cunningham probing and punching away, and the rest of the team plays pretty well as well.
Today is so important to those players and those fans in red and white around this wonderful new stadium, because of course last year produced no silverware for St Helens at all, and they are determined to put that right, not only this afternoon but also in Cardiff on May the 15th. But Huddersfield still may well have their say. Will it be an exhibition or another extraordinary Challenge Cup epic? We shall see. Into the second half with St Helens leading by 26 points to 6, and we're back with Jonathan Davis and Dave Watts.
Well, people talk about that semi-final last year in which Kevin Sinfield's Leeds beat St Helens as probably the best semi-final there has ever been. Well, if Huddersfield come back and win this today, I think this might just eclipse it, because they've got a huge task facing them now. To be trailing anybody by 20 points at half-time is bad enough, but to be trailing St Helens in this mood by 20 points is almost insurmountable. You fear, don't you?
Yeah. Ian Miller will just say, look, let's just go out and finish this job now. And they'll try and get the points on the board, really finish it as a contest.
Well, what we are assured of is either a gripping, thrilling fight back by Huddersfield, or another show of sensational rugby league by St Helens. Riley's just troubled by the sunshine that caught Paul Wellens out in the first half there as well, but he recovered in time. March at dummy half, taking it down the middle. Needing something very special, and they certainly need to score first in this second period here, Huddersfield. I wonder what John Sharp, their coach, will have said to them at half-time.
Well, they just got to, you know, as I said, get possession. They haven't really had a lot of possession, and the possession they've had, maybe on that one occasion where they scored, they had good field position. Not only has the St Helens attack been very good, but the defence has been awesome as well.
Sculthorpe at dummy half. That kick was not the best to end that set of 6. It has given St Helens possession too close to the halfway line.
Wait! Get off! Wait!
It's just the deftness of the passing that has unlocked them, isn't it? You know, having dummy runners coming at every angle at you, and they've just picked the wrong runner, and lovely inside ball length for Gardner's try.
This is Cunningham. It's not quite the feverish atmosphere we had starting the first half. It's a little more settled now as Sculthorpe takes it deeper and deeper into Huddersfield territory. It's the 6th tackle coming up here. Hooper. This is long. Again, the kick is a good one. Oh, and Riley has to put it behind the net ball line and can see the drop out underneath the sticks. It'll be another set of 6 for Huddersfield to defend.
And that is just very, very good play, you know, good field position, just a lovely weighted kick. Riley's hoping he's going to go dead, got to play at it, and now they've got another set of 6.
Cunningham. Here's Mason. Brought back from Australia last year, Keith Mason had a spell over there, but signed back by St Helens and doing well since he has been back here. This is Alberts. Can't dance his way through on that occasion. The referee has given what here? Scrum down. He's seen a knock on. John Sharp, the Huddersfield coach, looking on.
Well,
play the ball forward.
Well, that wasn't the mark that he took it on, so I think I heard him say it was Darren Albert. So.
That was a little high for the referee's liking.
Didn't he cop the few today?
And then March with a tap as well. Penkovic to Crabtree. He's a big lad and he's not growing yet, though, Crabtree. I think he's only 21 years of age. Roherty back to Jean. Penkovic with a scurry. Here's Roherty. Fancies a double himself here, Ben Roherty, and he's got a good offload away as well, which just opens things up for Penkovic, who sidestepped so big he tripped himself up.
Yeah, tried to run at the big man, Fozzard.
Jean, little kick from Stanley Jean, and Albert takes no chances. Palms it behind.
Little kick, but good cover. See how he's dropped back there. Darren Albert read the situation very well.
Keep working, fellas. Tidy up.
One of Stanley Jean's real strength, that. He's dabbing balls into the in-goal area. The Papua New Guinean. This is Wellens. Crabtree. Well, he's done well. And then pops a high one too. It'll be another penalty.
There's a few flying arms now, isn't there?
Well, the referee's having a word with Paul Sculthorpe here. This is the reason. Mason it was whose arm came high.
The reaction of Crabtree now, again, just a clumsy tackle.
Well, the referee speaking to the St Helens skipper, no doubt to tell him that the next of those might incur a greater off and might see a player dispatched to the sin bin. This is Penkovic from dummy half. Held down too long by Kieran Cunningham. It's another penalty. It's a scrappy start to this second half. March looking for the fringes where Sean Long often lurks in defence. Effin O'Hare from dummy half. March. Roherty drives it in. Tried to spin to get the ball away, but couldn't get his arms free. Penkovic. Crabtree came on the charge, but it went backwards to Jean, whose pass is poor. Riley. Little step from him, almost through. Penkovic again. Encouraging moments here for Huddersfield. March with a kick. A great recovery by Wellens. Real brave full-back play. And well, with one eye back on the voluntary tackle in the first half.
I think that was
the referee there. Another penalty for St Helens, which will lift the pressure. This is Mason. Brandon Costin is off the field at the start of the second half as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's... Watching Helens now, this is where they're at their best. They've just been on the ropes, and now they're on the attack straight away.
Cunningham tried to get it away. Knock on. Scrum down.
Yeah, it's been a scrappy start. 7 minutes of the second half.
Huddersfield's head and feed. There's Jean. Back to Riley, who with ball in hand has looked a pretty good competitor today, hasn't he, Paul?
Yeah, they're trying to get him involved, aren't they? He seems to be their strike runner. I think Sandy Jean has been moved out of the standoff, and Costin is off. And he seems to be pulling the strings. Costin was not effective in the first half.
St Helens up in the faces of the Huddersfield attackers. Here's March. Nero survives a crunching tackle from Long and then steps away from Tallow, but when St Helens look as though they might be beaten, two more defenders are quickly up there. Here's March again. It's a good kick. It's put pressure on Wellens. It hits the flag, so it'll be a tap back on the 20. It counts as being in goal, that touching goal.
Yeah, unlucky there, Marsh. Lovely little kick.
Down here on the touchline, it's been a bit of a rally from Huddersfield in the second half. I can tell you that John Sharp, their coach, has asked them to play in the second half with more composure, try and slow down the St Helens, play the ball. And from a St Helens perspective, it's more of the same, please, boys. That's a message from Ian Millward.
Well, Stanley Jean is getting a talking to here from the referee. Ian Millward looking on.
We're ready with them at their next one. See, but let's find it up. I'm on that.
Here's a swinging arm. Yeah, he didn't miss.
Fozzard again. That's at least twice in this game he's copped one round the melon, as they say in rugby league speak.
There's been a couple of swinging arms. I think the next one could be having a little rest.
Well, 10 minutes into this second half, and Huddersfield have not conceded a try, and that was stage one, presumably, of their battle plan for this second period. But they have to step it up further yet, don't they?
Yes.
Fozzard looking for a little retribution, no doubt. Long, Wellens, Nero holding on. St Helens winding themselves up again here, though. Gilmore. He's been lost. Play on, the referee says. It's Cunningham who springs away with it. Oh, it's intercepted by Bailey. Bailey's got support from Marcus St-Hilaire. Oh, and he's lost it too. And here's Long. And suddenly there are gaps appearing in the Huddersfield defence. And Long will find them. And Long is through. And he scores a try. if you drop the ball, you don't want him to pick it up. Sean Long scores a try that surely now books a final appearance for St Helens.
What can you say? That's just... Saints lost the ball, opportunity for Marcus St Helen. Ball comes loose here, does go back. There's Cunningham on the charge. Lovely ball, so it seems. Bailey gets the intercept. Great tackle by Albert. And then straight away he realises it's Gandon, the prop that's in front of him. Cuts inside. And just the strength to get there. There's the tackle by Darren Albert. And watch out. He's aware straight away he's got a prop in front of him. Skins the prop. Just makes the line.
Sean Long is, I think, going to give up the kicking duties here, is he? Because we've got a bit of a bang there as he was going over. Paul Sculthorpe is asking for the tee. Well, Paul Sculthorpe is no slouch in the kicking department either, is he? So it's...
But I think if it was a close game, I think Sean Long maybe would have stepped up to take it, but they're cruising now. That was the one they wanted.
St Helens fans are already dreaming of Cardiff last in the final in 2001 when they won it, 2002 when they lost it to Wigan at Murrayfield. It looks as though it's going to be another Wigan St Helens final. Another of those big rugby league occasions. Sculthorpe settling himself to add the two, which he has done with some aplomb. The ball drifting right over the black dot. 32 points to 6. St Helens lead now.
There's the intercept. Bailey looks for Marcus in the air. Ball dislodged, and as soon as he saw open space, you'd bet on him to score, but maybe he wouldn't.
Cheeky. There's the attempted short kick-off, which again has gone St Helens' way, and Wellens is half through. Stanley Jean doing just enough to keep a hold.
This is a real test of character now for Huddersfield.
Albert, oh, and Jean. Well, he did miss then, and it's a good job he did. Swinging arm from Stanley Jean, and Albert just about ducked underneath it.
No, you swung it up. I don't know whether you expected it or not. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt.
Well, he's lucky that didn't catch. Watch this left hook.
He's asking him. He said he wasn't sure whether he connected or not. All you have to do is look at Darren Albert's eyes and see that they're still focused, and you realise he didn't. Because had he done so, I don't think Darren Albert would have known what day it was.
No.
St Helens are getting stronger and stronger with every passing minute here now.
And they're not the type of side to leave you off the hook as well.
Sculthorpe, oh, just tries to fire it through for Gleeson. A little bit of pushing and shoving.
18, El Crabtree, and 15, Darren Turner.
Scrum down, head and feed. Goes Huddersfield's way. Marcus St Hilaire. It's a familiar refrain that is ringing around this Halliwell Jones Stadium now when the Saints go marching in. And they're marching at a real quick pace too. Tankovics trying to use players ahead of him to shepherd his way through.
Well, nothing's going right now at Huddersfield. That man John Sharp. There's a tackle.
Hooper with a feed, Sculthorpe picks it up. Referee says that Sculthorpe didn't have his head in the scrum, so we'll have to do it all again. Little nod from Sculthorpe towards Hooper. Here's Wellens.
Here, keep working, fellas.
Gilmore. Well, battle still goes on, and the ball was ripped away. There were two men in the tackle.
He was shouting held as well, the referee, and you've got to keep the discipline now, Huddersfield.
Sculthorpe with a kick to touch, which will give St Helens a tap just 20 yards away from that Huddersfield line. Here's Long again. Now Mason hammering it in, the front row man, trying to set that platform once more, of which the lively runners of St Helens can perform. And this is Fozzard striding through. That took some mighty defending to pull him down. Cunningham back to Long again, to Sculthorpe. Swallowed the pass up as though it was the best in the world, and it wasn't. It was a difficult take. Cunningham running from dummy half, always poses questions from that position. Sculthorpe. Mason pops one over the top. Out came Marcus Sinclair quickly to read that situation well. Long. Sculthorpe. The two star men in harness, but Huddersfield holding on. It was a sixth tackle, so it'll be the handover. This is Nero. Sean Long, who is departing the scene, the St Helens scrum half.
Yeah, he's done the damage, hasn't he? Now just get him off. Game is won.
There's Jean. Oh, that was a bludgeoning challenge. Jean almost bounced away from it, but Edmondson held on. March with the chip. Wellens has a bit of work to do here. March leading the chase. So too is Turner. Here's Gardner. Information that Sean Long has gone off, and Chris Joint has replaced him. This is Gilmore. Good show and a step. His footwork took him through, and now the speed of the legs will take him still further. Looks for support. Oh, he didn't want it. Didn't want it. Gardner was there. Gilmore eventually gets it away. Here's Hooper, and Hooper's hammered down.
They've got so many numbers on the right. Slowly getting back now to Huddersfield defence.
Back they come. Joint to Wellens. Misses out Sculthorpe. Mason onto Cunningham. There's 3 or 4 who might score this. Cunningham wants to score it himself. And in the end, his strength didn't quite get him over, did it?
Well, it'll be interesting to see. If he hasn't scored, there'll be a few words said, because he squandered a two-man overlap.
He has unbelievable upper body strength, Kieran Cunningham.
Yeah, but he should have passed Dave. You know, 2 men outside, the easy option.
Did he get it down, or was he carried out of play before he could get it down? He'd lost the ball anyway.
Lost the ball, and that is an opportunity wasted, which I'm sure a couple of his teammates will have a quiet word after the game.
Even the referees need a drink in a modern game.
Touch judge was in a good position to make a decision.
Well, he's lost it, and it was in the process of a tackle being made by Bailey as well, wasn't it? So it should be a tap back on the 20.
Yeah.
No try. Huddersfield with the restart on the 20-metre line. This is Fleary, who's not going to get his third Challenge Cup final appearance, not this season anyway. Roherty, good offload by him to Penkovics, and Leary driving it back forward again. An hour played almost, still over 20 minutes to play. This is Costin, who's back on the field. Riley, clean footwork again by him, and again with a bit of prompting from afar, the referee has given the forward pass. It's not the fans, by the way, who are doing the prompting. They do have assistants in the stands, the referees, and they are wired up so they can hear what they're saying, and the word there was that was a forward pass.
I think there's a few of them in every game which referees sometimes call up or leave go.
Albert. Chris Joints running into Stuart Jones. Gardner. This is Cunningham again. Ricky Bybee, the former Wigan player, with his first touch. I think that's the first time he's been on the field today, isn't it? Here's Hooper. It's interesting how Ian Millwall, that's been dropped, picked up by Nero. Here's Leary. He's not going to go 60 yards, is he? But he has support. St Helens back in defence. Bailey. Want to get on with it quickly here. Penkovics. Bybee was there to make the tackle. It's interesting how Ian Millwall does use the substitutes this season especially. He doesn't rotate as often as other coaches do, so very often you don't see a prop like Bybee appearing until late in the game. Costin. It's a neat little chip by Roherty, but it's not as neat as it might have been.
That has been a problem by Huddersfield. When they get into the attacking zone, the key player that have gone amiss. You know, Costin's had a quiet game, Stanley Jean's had a quiet game, and March. You know, compared to the St Helens kicking game, it's been totally ineffective.
And look at this now, 2 tackles, well, it's been dropped. But within 2 tackles, St Helens were up to the halfway line. That is the potency they have, isn't it, with the ball in the hand. The speed of the play the ball and the speed of the support players. Huddersfield are playing into the sunshine. They must feel like they're playing into the teeth of a force 9 gale. But here's Stanley Jean, half break. That was a very optimistic pass for March.
Great tackle though. Wellens just stands and waits for him. Watch, there's the break. Watch Wellens, forces him on the outside, forward pass anyway, and knock on.
Bybee. Cunningham. Sculthorpe. That's a good kick by Paul Sculthorpe. And the heavy-legged Huddersfield players have to get back. Riley looking for the clearance, and a great chase. See how cliche, isn't it? Kick's only as good as the chase.
Yeah, but it's very clever play by Sculthorpe. I think everyone's tired now. They've had a tough hour. So why are you playing your own quarter? Just put the boot to it and leave them take the ball out.
Here's O'Hare. Nero. Penkovics, that looked forward as well. It's allowed to go. Costin, Jean, taking a very tight ball, but couldn't do anything with it once he had it in his hands. Costin. Here's Wellens. He did well. Nice footwork from Paul Wellens. There's Gardner. Bybee. Now he will be looking forward to that final date against his former club. He didn't leave in the best of circumstances. Cunningham. Mason, you could hear the clatter from here. Here's Cunningham again now, St Helens inside the opposition half again. 6th tackle coming up there. Sculthorpe sends it skywards. Who's underneath this? Who's going to claim it? Nobody. Nobody wanted it. It seemed for a minute it's been left. And here's Talau. Still alive through Hooper. Oh, he's lost it. Regains it. He'll touch down and they'll ask the question here. They will ask the question because it might have been ripped away by a Huddersfield player. What he wants to know is if that was ripped away by the Huddersfield player, and if it was ripped out, that it would have been play on, or was it simply a knock-on by Hooper? That's the question they're asking here.
It's very difficult to see from we're watching the game, but I'm sure the slow motion will tell us. Well, I think that'll be a try. Costin ripped the ball out of his hand. You can see by the reaction of some of these players. There's the steal. Plays the advantage, and I think this will be a try, Dave.
Jason Hooper.
Costin definitely played at it, stole the ball out.
It's up to the fourth official now, the video referee, who has given a try. St Helens way decided that Costin did rip it out, and Hooper gets the touchdown. 2 days after St George's Day, the former St George player gets his second try. Think of a cheesier link than that, Chippy.
No thanks. There's the kick. No one really commits to it. Wellens gets a foot to it. It's a Talau's lovely inside ball. Hooper on his knees when he sees the chance to hit the hole. And you can see by his reaction, he says he's telling the referee, Kirkpatrick, look, it was stolen, he played on.
Well, that's the beauty of the technology these days, isn't it? That the referee in those kind of circumstances can get an absolute definitive decision from the cameras provided, rather than having to trust their own judgment. And you feel that maybe he might not have given a try without the benefit of the replay. Sculthorpe adds the 2. It's St Helens by a considerable margin.
There's the up and under. No one really commits to it with any authority. Talau's got enough time. Hooper just puts a pedal on the gas, gets a lucky bounce from the steal and scores. You can see they are extremely tired now, the Huddersfield players. They've put so much defensive work into it.
Well, Ian Millward was with us last year on the BBC Gantry, watching the second semi-final between Wigan and Bradford. And
look at that tackle count, Dave. Sorry to interrupt. 115-86. That is a lot.
I was going to say, you could just tell how much it hurt the St Helens coach last year not to be going to the final. Well, he's lanced that emotion this year because his side are going to the final, and against Wigan as well.
Here, fellas!
Cunningham. Edmondson with an inside ball for Gleeson, who's still going, strong runner. Sculthorpe right up to the line again. Flat ball to Bybee on the 6th tackle this, so they are playing the percentages here, St Helens, but it doesn't come up. You can afford to play the percentages when you're leading by 38 points to 6.
This is a hit on Sculthorpe, bang, caught one off Fleary.
Roetic, high one over the top. Nero brings it back. They're on a learning curve at the moment, Huddersfield, aren't they? Generally, not just in this game, but generally under their new coach. They've had a terrific start to the league season, where they've beaten the likes of Wigan already, and this one will be in the back pocket.
Yeah, this, the Belgian Challenge Cup would have been a bonus for them. That's what they want to do well, is in the league.
This will all be part of the learning experience for him, John Sharp, and for his players as well, even though it's rather painful at the moment.
Yeah, extremely painful.
That's play on. One man in the tackle. And eventually the penalty is conceded. Tapped quickly as well. No point going for two at this stage.
No.
Roetic. Good hands again here. Here's Jean. Just held up.
Good tackle.
Riley's moved up to dummy half. Tries to bundle his way over. Can't find that way. So out to Penkovic, who's on to March. Better. Nero. Quick hands. Effin O'Hare had his way closed, and Huddersfield losing their way, losing their composure, and ultimately losing the ball.
Again, just not the composure, really, the trouble, St Helens. And that, like I said earlier, the problem has been, you know, you haven't had Costin, March, and Stanley Jean coming in there and controlling it, like Sean Long and Sculth have been doing for St Helens. The difference has been amazing just in that last 20 metres.
Well, if St Helens do go on and win the Challenge Cup this year, you'd have to say it must be one of the best Challenge Cup wins for an awful long time, because in every round they have faced a team who have been in top form. Leeds in the Bradford in the first round, Leeds in the second round, and then Hull. And then in the semi-final they've played a Huddersfield team who've been going well as well in the Super League, and yet they've risen to the challenge and have been worthy winners each time. Here's Cunningham, leading by example.
Yeah, there's been some classic encounters. The pace of the game has been breathtaking on some occasions.
Sixth tackle coming up. Kicks away. St-Hilaire's underneath it. Little umbrella of defenders closing in. Ball squirts out. Well, it has to be something. It's either a penalty or a knock-on.
Yeah, but it is a knock-on. A late call. Again, consulting. There's the ball, loses it, knock-on.
Was there a sneaky hand in there from Fossa?
Hello, let's go.
Hooper's off, and the youngster Hardman, who's been putting in some good performances in the Super League this year, is on. Talal. Bybee. Cunningham. Fossard. And again, he fancies taking them on himself. 8 yards away from the Huddersfield line. St Helens looking to burst the 40 points mark as Sculthorpe puts the kick in. O'Hare just about kept his feet, and he's just out of danger, is he? Yes, he is.
Yeah, did well to get out.
Scrambling away. If you were wondering, by the way, if you've just switched on and glancing at the scoreboard, 38 points to 6, and wondering if this is approaching a record, no, it's not. Nowhere near. The semi-final record was, of course, as we mentioned earlier, back in 1992, when Bradford were beaten by Wigan by 71 points to 10. But it has nonetheless been a very resounding victory for St Helens. They have played very, very well. Costin. Here's Hardman, the youngster from the bench who's come through the ranks at St Helens, 18 years of age.
He'd be delighted to have a run.
Gardner's through, shaking off the tackle of March on the outside of Riley. Now it's a question of who's got the pace. It's Gardner, that's who. 3 chasers give up. Aidy Gardner scores again for St Helens. They do burst that 40-point mark. It's St Helens dynamite.
Well, no flamboyant drive or one-handed put-downs. Just takes the ball, gives us forward a rest. Just bursts through the tackle, and man, as I've said, extremely tired defence, and once he gets on the outside of Paul Riley, it's a foot race. Long striding, good style, no one is going to catch him. Here's, it's not really a break, it's a missed tackle, runs straight at march. Extremely tired, gets on the outside of Riley, foot race, no one's going to catch him.
The boy from Barrow touches down. And St Helens are loving every minute of this now. Paul skillful. Right in front of the sticks. No problems whatsoever. 3 out of 3. 6 points to Huddersfield. 44 points to St Helens. The icing on the cake of St Helens' performance. Their passage to Cardiff had been booked a long time earlier than this.
Not many occasions you've got time to enjoy the semi-final. They're cruising, aren't they, St Helens? A fantastic start to the game.
Well, we always knew they were capable of this. Against any side, they're capable of this, aren't they? It was just a question of whether it was all switched on, whether all the buttons were pressed, and they certainly have been today.
Yeah, you always felt that Huddersfield had to get a good start, but it didn't keep the possession, or they didn't have any attacking opportunities. St Helens certainly took them, and that's it, tiredness, isn't it? Ineffective tackles, 25.
There might be a few more yet in the 5 minutes that remain. Huddersfield are now pushing for the half-century. That's the next target. Here's Sculthorpe with a kick. Not the best of kicks, but Riley's not dealt with it all that well either. Well, he just about escaped with his line intact in the end. I think we can point out at this stage as well, it had been a closely guarded secret in the Huddersfield camp that Paul Riley came into this game with a problem with his eyes. He's had an eye infection, Paul Riley, and it was really touch and go as to whether he was going to play or not today. But he was given the all clear this morning, and you just wonder whether that problem with his eyes has caused him problems here today. Here's the break by Fleary. That was clever play from the prop forward.
That's the second time now he's been in open space, and you can see the fear in his eyes, really. You want someone else there, not a prop forward.
Not built for speed, is it?
No. It'll be good experience for these young Huddersfield players, though, to play in a big Power Gen semi-final, against the quality side.
This is Bybee. I think that's going to be a high tackle.
Yeah, I think might be a little bit too late now to send someone off.
March just being advised as to where his tackle should be in relation to the opposition body, and that was too high. What about the man of the match today?
Well, I think Sculthorpe has had a big game. Forsyth has had a big game as well. But it has to be for the damage that he did while he was on the field. There he is, the Power Gen man of the match. Has to go to Sean Long.
Well, he's off the field now, but he did enough in the first 40 minutes, didn't he?
Yes, his kicking game has been superb throughout this season. His passing, created a couple of tries, and then really finished the game as a contest in the second half when he scored. Took him off as a precaution. Sean.
And the Huddersfield fans, as he appears on the big screen here, Ian Millward can even have a laugh as well. Big cheers all around the stadium. That's the power of television, and you just had it at your fingertips there, Jiffy. St Helens fans love that on a day they'll long remember.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of today's
Jones. Jean from dummy half. Here's Fleary now, little dummy from him. Huddersfield, Jones, a little stationary at the moment, Huddersfield. Nero can't burst through. Jean tries something a little different, but it's dealt with superbly again.
He's a very big lad for a winger, isn't he? He seems to be getting bigger these days. Two wingers at Bradford. Tavita Baikona, Vainicolo.
Cunningham. Gardner, what a big day for him. Teenager, experiencing life as a winning semi-finalist in a Challenge Cup.
It's nice to come on, isn't it? And his side's doing extremely well. You're in the final already.
It's a bit like in cricket coming in at number 4 with your side already having scored 458 runs, isn't it? You can just enjoy yourself. Gleeson now.
There's not many people that say they enjoy the semi-final, you know. It's such a tense affair.
Ball was ripped away, and then somebody said something out of turn amongst the Huddersfield ranks. Carl Kirkpatrick says we'll have none of that, and marches them another 10 yards further downfield. And hardly surprising in the circumstances, Paul Sculthorpe is going to go for goal here. It's pointless risking any further injuries in the 40-odd seconds that remain in this game.
Well, they could just kick it a touch, couldn't they, really?
And he'll take his time with this. It's going to be the last kick of the game, no doubts about that.
Yeah, but what a final now we have in store. Wigan versus St Helens. Always great encounters. Two extremely talented sides.
Well,
the atmosphere will be fantastic.
They met in Super League on Good Friday and there was nothing between them.
Great game.
Literally, it was a draw.
Game.
So that is going to be an absolute feast for grandstand viewers. Minutes are up. So this will be the last kick of the game. Paul Sculthorpe taking his time. Straight between the uprights. 6 points to Huddersfield, 46 for St Helens. There's been an awful lot written and said about St Helens and Ian Millward this week, but there remains one very significant top line. He is a very good coach. They are a very good rugby league side, and they've just proven that this afternoon.
Yeah, the pace at which they play, they've got great ability to pass, you know, pick the right runner at the defence. I just think, you know, they've had a tremendous start to the season, and what a final. They started the game, they knew they had to play well in the first 20 minutes, not to give Huddersfield any confidence, and they did that. They just dominated the first 20 minutes, put some pressure into points. The game was over as a contest. Look forward to a fantastic final between the two great clubs, St Helens and Wigan.
Well, let's hear from those who have been taking part. Damien Johnson is down on the touchline.
Jason Hooper, Saints were sensational today. How did you pull a performance out like that?
I don't know, it was just one of those days, everything went well, we got the good bounce, bit of luck involved. How good's this? It's unreal.
Sean Long, an amazing performance with all that's going on in his life, a Powergen man of the match performance today.
He's a champion, isn't he? He's got a bit of flack all week, and for him to come out and deliver a performance like that, it's a credit to him.
Jason, does that make up for losing in the semi last year in such dramatic style against Leeds?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, we've got a buzz now, you know. It's my first final I've ever played in my life, and yeah, I can't wait. It's a good feeling.
Well then, Jason, Ian Millward, the St Helens coach, is with us as well. Ian, you're in the final again.
Yeah, we've worked really hard. The boys have played tremendous to it. Every game we've played, it's there for everyone to see what we've done.
The tries were shared around today for a change.
What's that, mate?
The tries were shared around a bit for today.
Yeah, well, that's good, isn't it? We don't want anyone getting greedy, do we?
What about Sean Long? Amazing performance from him.
Tremendous performance in down all week. He's played extremely well. Really proud of him. But that's Sean. He's a great player and a great person.
And Wigan in the final, a repeat of 2002, and you owe them one.
Well, I'm not really worried about that. I just want to get there. Whoever we play is not the issue.
Thanks, Ian.
Okay.
What a side and what a performance. Impressive and very, very ruthless as well, St Helens today. Kevin Sinfield and Brian Noble have been watching it all. Brian, marks out of 10 for what you saw from St Helens today.
You've got to go close to give him a 9, a 9.5, maybe even a 10. It's not just so much what they've done today, but every round they've played the best teams. They deserve to be in the final. They produced some fantastic football today when it mattered, and they showed they've got the tough stuff in their arsenal as well.
Sean Long had a fantastic game. So too did the Saints captain Paul Sculthorpe. Let's hear from Paul right now.
Saints, were you surprised at how easy it was in the end?
No, it certainly wasn't easy. Huddersfield come to play. All credit to our guys. The semi-final's all about winning, but we did it in style.
Does it make up for last year? It was a bit of disappointment losing to Leeds, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Losing in the semi-final, it's heartbreaking. When you're so close as well. And the year before, losing a final, it's still not won. We've got a job to do against Wigan.
Nice, easy local derby against Wigan. They're always tasty.
They are. They're a special game. You can throw the form back out the window. It's all about the 80 minutes, and
thanks, Paul. Lee Gilmore's here. Lee, how does it feel to be in the final of the Challenge Cup again? You've done it before.
Unbelievable, We talked about that being his first goal for this season. We came out here, we did the basics, we talked about doing the little things right, and it paid off, and we got the points.
When you came over from Bradford, did you always expect the chance to win trophies here?
Yeah, you're going to be there or thereabouts, but you never expect anything in this game. Huddersfield are a great side, and full credit to them as well.
Was that the best Saints performance this season?
Yeah, I think it was. Like I said, we did the little things right, not the big things, and it all paid off towards the end.
Well done, Lee back.
Log on to the internet.
And St Helens and Sean Long in particular getting an absolutely fantastic reception from their army of fans here this afternoon. And it does suggest, Kevin, that the final in Cardiff with these two sets of supporters, Wigan and St Helens, it's going to be quite something, isn't it?
Yeah, it will, yeah. It's going to be very vocal. It's obviously a local derby from both. There's a lot of passion there. It'll be fantastic to be down there. The atmosphere will be great. And, there's going to be a mouth-watering clash there.
What impressed you most about St Helens today?
Just very ruthless. They've got a basic game plan. They've got a good kicking game and they chase very hard. They work very much on field position, and when they get that, they work hard on keeping you there. Just thought that the basics were fantastic, and the second half they just put the nails in the coffin.
And this is an important moment in the whole sort of bonding process of the side, isn't it? Ian Millwall gathers his players around Brian and delivers what kind of message after a performance like that?
He'll be congratulating on the way they prepared for the game, the way they executed the game plan, the way they did the fundamentals right, and he'll be talking about now, let's go finish the job. It'll be a terrific occasion. Myself and Kevin enjoyed it last year, the local derby, Leeds Bradford local derby, the different local derby now, very, very big one in rugby league, and the Millennium Stadium's a terrific place. You're a neutral get there because they just raise the roof off. Even when it's closed, the roof comes off.
And Sean Long there, man of the match. Well, understandably, he's letting his rugby do the talking today. He's going to steer clear of all interviews after the events of the last couple of weeks. But just talk about what you saw as his individual contribution today, Brian.
Well, he was pivotal, wasn't he? His kicking game was exceptional, and at the start of the game, the kick's not as good as he'd chased, but his vision as well. He had willing runners that go and attack in spaces just to pull out. He'll do the hard work, drag a couple of defenders away from him, as we saw there, and people pushing for holes. But at the end of the day, he did everything right. Everything bounced for him, everything went for him. But he'll be the first one to take his hats off to his teammates, because they provided the extra icing on the cake by hitting the right holes, and he's still got his nice Apache impression going as well. He looks great with the headband. So he's had an all-round good day for him.
It's great to see that smile back on his face. The other problems do linger around, of course, but he was in a similar mood in the match against your side, Bradford, in the early stage of this competition. Sean Long was in a similar kind of mood that day as well, wasn't he?
He's been playing well all year, but I think today will be special for him because of the adversity he's had to put up with and the distraction on his character, etc. He's put that behind him, and they've done their talking on the field today, St Helens, where that's the only place you can do it, and they've shown what a terrific team they are.
Well, they're on cloud nine, St Helens. Well, in that Huddersfield dressing room, well, we all know the feeling, and you've both been through it in different kind of forms. What will they take out of an experience like this? We were hearing during the course of the second half. This is a side on the learning curve, isn't it? And they would have learned a fair bit this afternoon.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's been a big game, and unfortunately they've been beat by a better side. But they'll learn things from this. It'll take them a couple of days to get over it, but the sooner they get back on the field, the better for them.
Yeah. The important thing from the Huddersfield point of view now is that it doesn't derail their season. They made this good, solid start to Super League, and they must keep focused on that.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm sure that what John Sharp's saying to them there, that they can't let this setback fall to the league form. They've been fantastic in the league, and they've got to push for top 6 honours, and I'm sure he'll be making that point.
How good a final are we in for now?
I think we're for an outstanding final. I think it was an outstanding final last year. I think we've got all the ingredients. We've got the Lancashire people will tell you it's the biggest derby in rugby league. Obviously the Yorkshire people will disagree, but I think if you're a neutral, go, because they'll dish up the wealth.